everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Brute for Change. We have with us Ms. Shubhika Jain, the co-founder of RAS Luxury Skincare now. Shubhika, please start off by introducing yourself. Give us a little bit of your background, how RAS started, what's been your journey so far.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here, Ritika. It's been lovely having Green Frontier Capital on board as one of our investors. So, to tell you guys a little about me, I'm Shubhika. I'm the founder and CEO at RAS. So, RAS Luxury Skincare is India's first farm to face luxury skincare and wellness brand. And also, we happen to be India's fastest growing luxury skincare brand. Our journey dates back to 2015 when I graduated from Lady Shram College and came back to my hometown Raipur. And I started looking at the agri-business side of our family business, one of which was into essential oils. From there, I got exposed to the entire way in which the oils are extracted from these herbs and botanicals. One particular essential oil really caught my fancy and attention. That's also one of the essential oils which Cleopatra loves. It's rose essential oil. So, can you guess the price of 1 liter of that essential oil, Ritika?
I have absolutely no idea, but I'm
Very
assuming
wild
it's extremely
places.
expensive. Uh,
Still,
10, 20,000?
it's actually that in dollar terms. So it's actually 18 lakh rupees
Oh, wow.
a liter. It's that
That's a lot.
expensive. So when
Wow.
we got exposed to these ingredients, which are so precious, which are so rare and such amazing benefits, I started researching into it. And being a user of all kinds of skincare brands internationally and also in India, one brand had ingredients mentioned on the label which said rose essential oil, but it was smelling so strong. And I was like, today only I saw how the oil actually smells. I've seen it being extracted. Let me actually get it tested. When we got the product tested, we got to know that it had 0% of that ingredient which they claim to have in their thing. That is when we decided that we want to change how this is. India being such a beautiful land with such ingredients, a diverse geographical, layout, and we are not building a brand which can be from India to the globe as per European standards which are strictest. So we started the backward integration and developed products which go by the European standards which are strictest. It has 3,000 ingredients that you cannot use. We don't use it, and we are using only natural and nature derived ingredients in our brand, and that's how the journey started.
Wow, that's incredible. And it's great. You're also a Delhi University student.
Yeah.
So my so a little bit more about how you decided to become a founder. And since you've already mentioned the motivation behind Russ, what exactly was the problem that you were trying to solve? Ingredients is one part of it, but what do you see as a larger problem in the skincare industry in India and globally?
So skincare actually is a part of in a way healthcare. Skin is the largest organ in your body, and what you apply to your skin, it absorbs. Approximately 60% of what you apply to your skin gets absorbed by your body. So if you're using products which are filled with, not like toxic chemicals, or with some sort of trace elements which are not good for your body, it will impact you. Like, there are a lot of studies that are there for some brands which the products of which actually helped in causing cancer and all of this. So our motivation was that the larger picture is, how do we impact positively the health of people and also the health of planet? Because that's why we started with a brand that's natural, that's also natural while being effective and giving the great experience. So luxury, natural, and effectiveness, we are one of the unique brands in India which give all three to our people. And we do it in like glass packaging with all our sustainability initiatives that we've taken, because of which we have you guys with us. And so we could do both of that, because we think that everything can go hand in hand as long as you have the intention and the right product, right team, and everything to work on.
That's absolutely correct, and I completely agree with you. And I've also been personally noticing that a lot of brands are now adopting sustainability in every part of the supply chain. But it's absolutely wonderful that you also have the farm to face model.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about your farms and uh, a little bit more about how you source your ingredients?
Sure. So we are one of the only brands in India, and very few globally which have the farm to face approach, wherein we actually have our own farms and we have partnered with 3,000 plus farmers, wherein we grow a lot of the ingredients. So in our farms, we grow 30 to 40 of the ingredients ourselves, and we then those ingredients are then harvested in the best possible way, and we have our own R&D lab which is approved by the Department of Scientific and Industrial Research, in which we do a research on the ingredients and its compatibility with the other ingredients and actives, and we formulate the product in our lab and then we manufacture it. So when I say farm to face, I mean that we are a vertically integrated company with a proper end-to-end supply chain, and that is how we can guarantee the purity of our products very proudly, that yes, what we are giving to you is actually what we say we are giving.
That's incredible. And as a consumer myself, I can say for a fact that this farm to face aspect really makes a lot of difference in consumer choices. So since we're talking about consumer choices, if you could tell us a little bit more about how you're planning to position your brand in the market. You have the word skincare and luxury within the brand name itself. So tell us why these two aspects and how you want to position yourself in the Indian market.
So, like I said, that in the Indian market, there are brands that are natural, but they might not be effective. They might not have the kind of actives or those technologically advanced ingredients that help in the product to be effective. People think that if it's natural, it will take some time for the effect to show. Then there are brands which are very effective, which talk about 2% vitamin, 5% niacinamide, and all of that. But those brands, they are not necessarily natural, right? And then there are brands that are luxury, but then the luxury brand might not even be natural or effective. They're just giving an experience that, wow, my packaging is great. Please buy our products because we look so good. Now, we are at the intersection of all these three things, being luxury, natural, and effective. That is where our positioning is. And if you see in India, brands like, say, Forest Essentials or Kama, they come in the luxury brands, and then there are international brands as Kiehl's, L'Occitane, Estee Lauder, Clinique, and so on and so forth. So we are positioned over there with our brand, and we want consumers to start asking questions about what they are using, why are they using, and not just use it because of what a marketing thing says that this is what it is. We want consumers to become more aware and read about the ingredient that actually go in the product, because what you get the effect of is essentially of what goes in the product.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
correct. And since you talked about consumers and misconceptions, what are some of the common misconceptions that you've heard based on your experience from consumers? Because I think most consumers just go for the look and feel, maybe at the most the smell of the product.
Yeah. So, consumer misconceptions are, like I mentioned, that natural है तो effective नहीं होगा, and if it's effective, then it might not be Lux. So consumers also, because of the brands that they've been exposed to, they don't know that can a natural brand be effective. So with us, we want to change that psyche, because at the end of the day, a consumer who, say, has dark spots, or say who wants to take care of fine lines in a better way, they'll be like, yeah, I would like to use a natural product, but if I don't get the effect, then what's the point of it? So we want to solve for that. And some misconceptions are that um, that oils are not good for the skin, or it's not good. So we are changing that by, actually, one of our top sellers is also one of our face elixirs, a face oil, in which it actually helps to restore that natural glow and the natural inner radiance of the skin. You don't need to change your skin tone and become whiter or lighter. It's more about embracing yourself as you are, and making your skin better and healthier. If your skin is healthy, it will naturally glow.
That's such a positive message because a lot of times skincare is associated with beauty and not health. And that's
Yeah.
such a nice message that you've shared with all of us today. Since we're talking about health, how is it that skincare is actually healthy for you, and especially with climate change, what is the importance of skincare for people who are living in extreme sunlight, living in extreme heat?
So skincare is extremely important in any situation, and extreme situations it becomes very very important. The reason being that skin is your first barrier or first layer of immunity that you have. If your skin barrier is strong, your overall immunity would be better than if it's not. So, say for example, if you're in extreme heat, you need to have sun protection on. You need to have hydrating products that you apply to your skin and you reapply as well. Because when there's heat, we end up going and being inside our rooms with air conditioners on, and air cons are known to really dehydrate the skin as well. And you don't want that, because then with dehydrated skin, it leads to loss of collagen. It leads to your skin looking actually 5 to 10 years older than it should be looking you know so skincare is very important in a very hot climate, and in a cold climate as well. The skin's ability to generate that moisture reduces, because there's only so much that it can actually do. So you need to apply your really moisturizing products. Like we have a product called Deep Nourish, which really becomes one of our top 3 products, top 5 products in winters. And face elixirs, of course, start selling even more during the winters, because people feel the need to have that extra dose of moisturization. So skincare is super important, Ritika, in any kind of climate. Even in a humid climate like how it is in Bombay, you would feel that, oh, you don't need it. But even if it's humid, we are not without AC. We are there in the sun. We are exposed to the lights from our screen, from the tube lights and everything. So we do need to moisturize our skin. We end up using a face wash,
Right.
but if you use a face wash, it does dehydrate your skin and strip the skin of some moisture, so you need to replenish it. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about your brand a bit.
Hmm.
As a skincare brand in India, what do you think are the most important marketing strategies for you and the best channels for sales for you?
So, the best marketing strategy is to give people the right content, that they actually understand what they should do without you having to tell them. So, because there's so much marketing that buy this product, buy that product, it
Yeah,
really confuses the consumer. So when you educate them on why this is to be done, then they feel like actually doing it, rather than somebody telling them that, okay, there's an offer, just go and buy that. So first you need to educate the customers, make them aware of uh, what is it that we are going to do that will benefit them. When you make them aware, that is when they actually come and become your customer. And the channel that is really good, so for a new brand, leveraging the power of social media is super important. Because where, as individuals, like if I ask you that, where is it that you spend time mostly? Nowadays we
you're
don't
right.
even watch television. We watch TV shows, or we watch movies on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar, and all that. We're there on Instagram, right? On Facebook. We are not even looking outside on to hoardings or anything else nowadays. So the hoardings have in a way moved to our phones.
Yeah,
So that is where we need to, as a brand, be available for the customer. That is from the D2C strategy. And I feel that as a luxury brand, having an offline presence is really important, because it's skincare is not like clothing wherein you can see that, okay, this model looks like me, or I think I'll look good in this
correct.
kind of clothing. Skincare, I think people really appreciate the aspect of touch and feel of the product.
Yeah,
So that's when we've started. Now you would know that we've opened a
yes.
store, our first store actually, in Raipur, which is my hometown, and we've actually opened it in the best mall over there, in the ground floor, right in front of Forest Essentials, Nykaa Lux, Body Shop. So it's the entire skincare junction over there, and we are operationally profitable from the first month itself.
Wow, that's incredible, and congratulations on the store opening. It's a very big achievement.
Milestone,
Um,
yes, for us. Thank you
uh,
so much.
of course. So tell us a little bit more about your store. How has the experience been in running your own first retail store, and what is it that you're doing new in your store as compared to others?
Sure. So when we were opening our first store, we had been planning about it since January. The designing took so much time, and there were so many hiccups in execution. Like obviously now the store is out, everything looks all nice and rosy, but the amount of effort that went in by myself, also by the team, was humongous. I mean, till the end, there was something in which, the people who were going to make the store, some material got stuck because there were heavy rains in Delhi and the material couldn't be transported. And then, all these kind of things were happening as well. But finally, we made it, you know. And we launched it with the deputy chief minister of Chhattisgarh, who came for the inauguration. And we had a really unique factor in our store. We're the first brand in India to actually have a skin analyzer machine, which analyzes your skin based on photo imaging and digital and artificial intelligence, which it uses to give you report on your skin, on the kind of pores, on where you have pigmentation, what is the hydration level, and so on and so forth. So it'll present to you reports, like how when you go for an
Wow.
x-ray, it'll give you reports. So it'll give you reports, and then it'll suggest to you that for this concern, these are the products in our portfolio that can help you. So then you can select from there, because you might have some parts of the regime already. So you can start with few products, one, two, three products, and it suggests the routine as well.
Wow, that is incredible. And that's actually such a perfect routine for someone because you tell them exactly what the problem is and exactly what the solution is and
Yeah,
how
because
often to repeat
again,
it.
that's what skincare is supposed to be. It's in a way healthcare.
Exactly. So you're
It's
giving
a
them
more
everything from the
glamorized form
diagnosis.
of healthcare.
Exactly. You're giving them everything from the diagnosis to the final
Yeah,
prescription.
absolutely.
That's incredible. So,
Yeah.
one more thing that I wanted to ask you was that as a marketing strategy, most skincare companies and brands focus on one specific gender, and skincare is normally perceived as a gendered routine. So, how do you see that? Do you think that skincare should be gendered, or is that something that everyone should adopt?
So now in India specifically, Ritika, it is true that people think men feel that skincare is not for them, that they feel that, it's not manly enough if they use skincare somehow. But hidden away in their homes, they do end up using. Like we have so many customers who say that, their husbands also use it. So in the end, they don't want to show that they're using it, but even actually they are using it. Of course, they're not. I'm generalizing and talking when I'm saying,
Yeah,
uh, when you look at an average number of skincare products a female uses versus when male uses in India. Um, and I'm speaking specifically to India because that's where we've done most study on consumer behavior, and we've seen it very closely. Men tend to use maybe 50% lesser products than women. They would definitely use a face wash. They would use something related to aftershave if they shave and all. And nowadays they've started to use sunscreen or some sort of moisturizer. So
right,
those products, maximum three products they would use. And apart from that, obviously, body wash, shampoo is something that's used. And many people don't even use lotions. So I think that that's not a healthy practice. And I tell them that eventually your wife is starting going to start looking 10 years younger to few years down the line. So, skincare is not actually gender focused. Honestly, when you look at a men's skincare line, that is more of a marketing thing than a effectiveness thing. Because the skin is a skin. It could be that as a male, the skin could be more rough, but it's not necessary that for every male out there, the skin is going to be rough or something like that. So it's more
right.
about your skin concern, your skin type, if it's normal, or is it dry, or is it oily, or if are you acne prone. So it's more about that, and that's how skincare should be perceived. But in India specifically, men want a separate line for them, and that's more about a change of label and packaging, and maybe few things like how the product smells.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because we've been seeing different lines across all brands for men and women, and that's usually about the smell and the packaging. But if you're saying that the content and the ingredients are all the same,
See, because if you know that if there is a moisturizer for somebody who's male, the moisturizer is a moisturizer. They have the same ingredients that moisturize the skin.
right?
Okay, it's like I told you, it's a healthcare. There won't be a separate medicine for a male and a separate medicine for a female for the same problem. You know,
Of course,
if the
yeah.
problem is the same, the solution is same. But of course, with skincare, like I said, it's a glamorized form of healthcare. So there is that element of resonating with the brand. So a lot of times, and this doesn't happen in Europe, that you have men's line separately. It doesn't happen much in US. It happens mostly in India.
So it's largely a change in perception that will probably come soon enough, and
And
we'll be
what
seeing
happens,
it.
Ritika, is that when you
Yes,
have a separate men's line, men feel that okay, now they should use it.
yeah. But if that is what is required to bring consumer adoption, at least for the next few years, then
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
we
what
don't
brands
mind
will do.
doing it in the future. We don't mind doing it, because it could be that by how the product looks and how it smells, somebody who's the right TG could be more attracted to it.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. So let's change the topic a little bit and maybe talk about your brand and your team. So you're a family-run business. Your co-founders are your sister and your mother, and you're a largely female team. So can you tell us a little something about the challenges that you might have faced building a woman's brand with an all-female founding team and a largely female team?
So the challenge is that we've had a great time. There's not been any challenge as such by having women on team. I feel that having more women on team is actually better for the brand,
Yeah,
because when you're into skincare, and women, when they naturally understand it, to communicate to the customer, be it via customer care or be it by the marketing team, and even like our packaging and production team, because we have our own factories, they are largely females. Hardly there must be usme in a packaging team there are only two males. All of them are females. So I think that sincerity, I wouldn't say it's not there in men, but it's a lot there in women. Like if you tell them that they feel for it and they actually put in their heart and soul to achieving it. A lot of times we have to understand that, say for example, if it's a woman and there might be time restrictions, and also we have to consider that for them, but then they make up for it and they really stay and make sure we're able to deliver what we've promised to, say, a client or a customer and all of that. And I mean, I've been blessed to have my sister as my co-founder and my mother as my co-founder, and we have very specific roles. I Like my mom looks at everything with regards to R&D production. My sister, she is the chief marketing officer, so she looks at everything related to marketing, branding, digital sales. Everything that you see about the brand is done by her and her team. And I look at all kinds of other things, whatever you can't see, like finance, operations, anything related to investment, and all those things I look into, and then trying to weave everything together. It's what I do. But yes, when we were it was only after we raised money from Six Sense, that is when I got told by somebody else that it was a big achievement to raise money being a woman and from a tier 2 city.
right.
Like I hail from Raipur, so I got to know about these statistics that only 3% of VC funded businesses are run by women. So I was surprised to hear that, because while I'm doing it, I don't see that, oh, I'm a woman. Obviously I know that, but then
Yeah,
you look at it as an equal with anybody else.
of course. Yeah,
So yeah, there were challenges initially wherein people wouldn't believe, or people would think that, why is she telling me? Like if a male would scold them or tell them, they would take it. But then as a woman, if you do, they took time to understand that and respect. So you have to prove yourself actually to
yeah.
anybody for them to respect you, look up to you, and actually be that dedicated.
Yeah, I can understand, and I can assure you that we're very proud to have Gus as one of our portfolio companies with such an incredible team and such great brand values.
Thank you so
So,
much, Ritika.
of course. So maybe let's talk about climate tech investments and how you perceive the space. Because as a D2C brand, most people would not place themselves as a climate tech company. And you're at the intersection of both a consumer brand and a climate tech company. So how do you perceive the ecosystem, and how do you see the climate tech space as different from other ecosystems in the country?
So, I mean, this is an interesting question because there are very few companies that would be in such an intersection as a consumer and a climate tech
Yeah,
company. So, what I understand by climate tech is a company with, who's also focused on technology, who also takes care of the planet in a way.
yeah,
Climate change. If you care about the planet deeply, climate change would also be mitigated to some aspect, to whatever small level you can contribute to. So being a consumer brand, like I told you, our values were that to do something that can be good for the consumer and also good for the planet.
right.
So, and also being a D2C brand, we've had to make sure that we are at the perfect mix of integration between technology, like our own D2C store, the integration, the last mile operations, warehouse management, order management systems, and making sure our product can reach to a customer in 1 day, 2 day, 3 days of them ordering it. In now also we are improving our tech integrations and seeing how can we deliver to the customers the same day. It's a work in progress, and I think in 2 months we'll be able to get there. So that is how I see the climate tech space. And it's really growing because climate change is real. And
Yes,
even if climate change was not real, but uh, that doesn't mean at any cost you will do something which you can avoid by to not harm the planet. We believe that we believe in the philosophy of live and let live. So if you can actually do your business while using glass bottles which are infinitely recyclable, then let's at least try and do that. Build a
yeah,
model with that, because even consumers respect that, and they also want something which stands for such values.
absolutely. There's
Yeah.
this misconception that green premiums exist, that anything that's green is also significantly more expensive. What are your views on this? Do you think a glass bottle at the end of the day, it is more expensive than a plastic bottle, but does that make a lot of difference as a brand?
Green premium exists in a way that there are additional costs to it, to the product. So it could be a small premium of say a 10% or a 20%, depending on what are you doing about it, and also the brand positioning. Now, if in the same glass bottles I filled it with regular products, I wouldn't be taking the kind of premium.
Yeah,
We would not be, because compared to a plastic bottle, which could be say you can get a good pet G bottle for 5 rupees. A good glass bottle in the same kind of size would cost you maybe 22 rupees. So it is significantly higher when you look at the cost of that. So say you're spending, say example, 15 rupees, 17 rupees extra over there. But if
right.
you're not spending extra on the products, then you would not charge the customer to that level. So, speaking from a layman's perspective, yeah, they can call it as a green premium. But when you look at what inputs go into it, and the entire supply chain that is required to make it happen, it is significantly higher.
Right. But the impact also is significantly more.
Yeah, absolutely. The impact is significantly higher. Like, I mean, when you are buying from a brand that is directly helping in the employment of women farmers or women workers, the impact is going to be there, because when women start earning, the nation improves, because they actually end up giving the money more to their children. And this is something that has been documented as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I
It's a
couldn't
well
agree with you.
documented fact.
Yeah,
So, impact is 100% there. You can't deny the impact. So it's like you don't need to, then if you do something like this, if you buy from conscious brands, you don't really need to do charity, because the brands are doing that for you.
correct. So I absolutely agree that impact and sustainability are now becoming very important to all brands in India. anybody who wants to succeed has to be sustainable.
Yeah.
Otherwise, at some point or the other in the future, uh, because of policy or because of consumer consciousness, your brand will have to evolve to decarbonize as well.
No, no.
Completely agree. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about your fundraising experience. You mentioned that when you raised capital, you faced challenges, and you were also told that it's a bigger achievement for you. So tell us a little bit more. Give us some anecdotes from your journey and the good, the bad, all of it.
Yeah, so I mean, when you're fundraising, firstly, we were always earlier we did not want to like get an additional investor on the board because there were a lot of misconceptions that if an investor comes, you can't do anything that you want. They'll tell you do this, do that, do this, do that. There were a lot of these things that people were telling you. You always get unsolicited advice. If you're a young founder, there'll be 10 people telling you 100 things. Now we then finally decided that no, we want to grow faster because we want to make the bigger impact in a shorter time, not like a super short time, but in a, like, if we did it without the investment, we would have to take maybe double the time than we would now. Now with the investment, we can actually have good people in the team, because even hiring people who are quality people, we really need to pay people well. We need to expand our facilities, we need to factor in for working capital, we need to factor in for R&D. So all of that extra costs do go into like a brand building, and especially a brand building with its own supply chain, more capital is required. So to build a big company, we knew we needed capital. So we were like, fine, let's do fundraise and let's do it. Now we created our pitch. So when we first were doing fundraise, it was all I was doing it, and there was no investment banker. Even now with Green Frontier Capital, it was just, I was introduced to Sandeep in 2020, and he ended up investing in 2022 at 5 times of what it was in 2020. But in any case, the experience was very humbling as well, and it was an eye opener as well, because when you have interactions with all these investors who've also seen so many companies, and the questions they ask, that makes you introspect deeper. And it is very harsh as well at times, because as a founder, creating this company yourself and getting rejections is insane. Like before 6 cents invested, we had pitched to many investors, and I had gotten at least 30-40 rejections as well. So it's not easy, but then you just then have to have that resilient spirit in you to, if you feel down also, then get back up, because like it says, picture abhi baki hai, it's not over yet. We need
Yes,
to go get it and do that. So yes, and then the entire due diligence aspect, it also makes you look at aspects of your business which might have been overlooked by you
correct.
yourself. So for me, having investors on board has not been bad at all. It has been really good, and having GFC also has been really great with us, because with you guys, highlighting the sustainability aspect, which we are doing, but we're not talking about much, is doing. Like, you ask me, Ritika, that ye wala metrics doing this and that. Like,
Yeah.
we are doing work, but then nobody gets time to actually quantify the impact. So because
Yeah.
of you guys, we are forced to do it, which is a good thing. So
Yeah, actually, that was going to be my next question, which is please give us an unbiased view on GFC and the role that GFC has been able to play in your growth. I know you're talking to someone with this logo up here, but if you can give us a very unbiased opinion on how you see GFC.
no, no, I fully believe in Sandeep's vision, and how he perceives the world to be becoming. So he started this 10 years ago, and now climate change has become such a big topic worldwide,
Correct.
right? So he obviously saw that before anybody else did, and I think you guys are one of the only climate change VC firm who's investing in India. I don't know of anybody else currently. So I feel lucky to actually have you guys, and you guys have been very non-invasive. And I feel that Sandeep is, as a person, he lets the entrepreneur decide. He always gives his suggestions, and I feel that to be more impactful. Like me as a founder, I would love to listen to him more, because he never really tells me that nahi yehi karna padega, or this is the only way. And even if I disagree with him, or even maybe with Sixth Sense, there have been instances and I'm like, what, you guys are saying that, but I don't agree, I agree to disagree on that, which is also okay. And then you can have a logical discussion on that, and so on and so forth, and you can have a good laugh about it as well. So that's how I like to build my relations, and with GFC it's been absolutely a breeze.
The feelings are mutual,
Yeah.
Shubhika. Thank you for saying this. We're at the tail end of our interaction here. So, just a few concluding questions from my side.
Sure.
Um, where do you see us in 5 or 10 years? What is your vision for the company?
So 10 years is a very long time. In 10 years, if you see, I see us as a global brand with stores across the world, wherein how there are brands from, say, Japan was not known for skincare. There's French skincare which was known worldwide, but Japanese skincare was never known. you know then the brand Shiseido, how it really like outshout and outshine everything, and it's there everywhere worldwide. So that's the kind of story we want to do. Then how brands like Estee Lauder, they're worldwide, they have such a great presence in India, Europe, anywhere, UAE. So we want to build a legacy, and that starts now
Yeah,
with you guys, one store at a time, one customer at a time, one client at a time. Like now we have Vistara Airlines as our customer who buys from us for flights from India to Europe, the premium economy kit. We're there with Trident Hotels in the spa. We're there with multiple other hotels. So, small steps leading to a big impact, compounding further, is where we'll end up in 10 years.
that'll be incredible. I think
Yeah.
it'll be incredible if we see a Rust store in another corner of the world.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You go to Paris and you'll be like, oh, yes, I can see few Rust stores here.
Yeah, that's incredible. And thus the name in itself is so Indian and so indigenous that it'll be incredible to actually see people using that word around the world. That'll be
Yeah.
incredible.
No, thank
So
you. So even
yeah,
when we were devising the name, we wanted that the name should not be very long. It should
yeah,
be easy to remember. It should be something that can also look good internationally, and should have some Indianness while being international. I mean,
yeah.
that is such a hard brief, and literally, I was looking at names. I came up with the name Russ, and then we took 2 months more to think of other options. We ended up with Russ, which was a name, which is a Sanskrit word, which actually means essence or happiness. Because essentially, that's what we're doing. We're giving you the essence of plant for your happiness, because health is the biggest wealth, which is the biggest happiness.
Yeah, I personally really love the name. And I've honestly heard great feedback about the name as well. So I think it was a great choice.
Thank
Um,
you so much, Ritika.
So, as a young founder and as a female founder, what is the advice that you would give yourself if you could go back in time, maybe 5, 6 years ago, and just tell yourself, I
Myself.
should have done this better?
No, I think advice to myself could have been to, get good people sooner. Because we were not a funded company, we could not hire kind of people that we have now. But if we had gotten them earlier, it would have made the brand grow faster, because I feel that you can, one person can only do so much. You need to have a team who is very well aligned with you and your vision to be able to execute what you have to. So that is the advice I would give to them, and to be able to be more lenient with people when required. So that is the advice I would give. But that's not the advice everybody else needs. So
Yeah,
if you have to tell what other founders, for any people who want to start their companies, that be ready for a roller coaster ride, because it's definitely not a straight line. It has a lot of ups and downs, and you need to even enjoy the downs and not get bogged down that there is no option, because there's always some way out. It's us who have to like calm down, think of what is the way out and work towards that.
Yeah,
And
like you
when
said,
you
be
keep working,
resilient.
be resilient. Exactly. You have to be resilient. You have to be okay to pivot if required. You
Yeah,
have to have the spirit of never giving up.
yeah, and take some difficult decisions when
Yeah,
required.
yeah, absolutely. You have to take difficult decisions. You have to be honest. The number one thing is that sometimes people are not honest with their own selves. Forget about the world. You have to be honest that were you right? Were you okay? Was it okay for you to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And on that note, Shubhika, who is that one person that you want to emulate in your life? Who is your role model or someone that whose path you are trying to follow?
I mean, this is a very difficult question because what I do is I try to take different things from different people.
Yeah,
And it's not just one person that I look up to. Like, say, for example, my grandfather, he is somebody who has the knowledge of everything, right? From the architecture to politics to business to scientific. He is so technologically advanced. He is so much into climate tech and all. He's more into it than myself. I'll tell you very honestly. And he is somebody who, he was the first mayor of Raipur, the first and second mayor, and he's been into business also. He is a lawyer as well, and he's so calm and composed and has such a positive spirit around him. My mom, she is also somebody who's so like, I look up to my grandfather for a lot of things, my father for how he takes care of people. Like, we have schools and colleges, so is he's so caring for all the people who work for him, with him,
yeah.
and my mom, she's a nature lover. She takes care of not wasting resources. She looks at recycling, reusing, and reducing. So these three people who are a very core part of my life, I really look up to them. And then I look up to, businesswomen like Estee Lauder, who created that. Like in 1980s or 90s, she was the first woman in the magazine, Time magazine, of the 20 most influential business people. She was the first woman. I mean, back then, when there were no women even maybe working, she was, creating this really huge brand. So that is something to look up to. And path breakers like, say, Elon Musk, for whatever work and how resilient they've been, I look up to them for that. Steve Jobs for that perfection. So I keep reading different things, and I don't have one particular role model. I'm trying to build myself to be that, I would say.
I was just about to say that I'm sure you will end up being a role model for a lot of people who listen to this and see Rust grow and establish itself around the world. I'm sure of that.
No, no, thank you so much for your belief in us, Ritika.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think this has been a wonderful conversation, Shubhika. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us today and talking to us about your journey, the journey of your brand, Rust, and for giving your such wonderful advice to young people who might be listening to this.
No,
Thank
no.
you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ritika, for having me over.
Thank
Thank you, Karan. Thank you, the entire GFC team. Thank you. Bye.